Secrets of the movie theater. People always love those stories. So if you were to look at basically the Cineplex, just look at the word Cineplex. Now in word magic, there are letters that sound like other letters or are pronounced falsely like other letters. Cineplex is probably a good word that fits that category because we have the phonetic sin on the front of the word Cineplex, and it's falsely spelled C-I-N, but really it's S-I-N. So there's your first hint. If you want to know sort of what's going on with the movies, and the word movie means a movement of E or a movement of electricity. The letter E stands for the fifth element in our world. You can look up what the other four elements are yourself if you would like. And the E is the fifth letter of the alphabet, and that's what's known as the fifth element. And the fifth element is the invisible electricity that makes all the other four elements work on this planet. So back to the Cineplex, you have the phonetic sin, and then you have the E again. And E basically again stands for the invisible magic or the electricity that rules or sort of organizes this world, sort of like a Wi-Fi. That's what the air is. We know Wi-Fi is in the air. The average person today says, oh yes, of course, there's Wi-Fi everywhere, but I can't see it. Well, before there was Wi-Fi, there was the E, the magical, invisible electricity that sort of governs this realm. So Sin-E is how you start the word Cineplex. Sin-E-Plex. Now, plex, just like the phrase solar plexus, which is sort of in the middle of your chest, just means sort of a gathering point, a cluster. So Cineplex means the magical cluster of sins. And if you go watch a movie today, which means electricity in motion, you can see where the electricity is pushing people through the film production. Now, film, of course, means sort of to obscure. Like if you were to put a film over this lens right now, you couldn't really see me. You couldn't really see reality that clearly. And the word screen as well, like a screenshot in hockey is when sort of the attacking team obscures the view of the netminder. Or if you had a screen door, it's sort of a barrier between you and the outside world, you and reality. So just look at all the words and phrases used around the cinema. Again, sin it's hidden always in and around that industry. And Sin, of course, was an ancient moon god, and they would honor the moon. If people didn't like the light, they didn't want to honor the sun. And the sun, it represents life and what it needs to be happy and what you need to grow and what you need to evolve and what you need to grow food. Anything that has to do with life has to do with the sun. So in ancient times, if you were like a curmudgeon, sort of a stick in the mud, the rebel of the day, you're like, I don't want to honor what gives life, so I'm going to honor death. I'm going to honor the moon. So yeah, the moon has its own characteristics, and you can even look up that when the full moon's out, the crime rate raises drastically all across the world. So the moon has its own characteristics. And Sin was sort of an ancient god of death, and it would give a human sacrifice or animal sacrifice to Sin. So Sin's not generally, even in the religious context, it's not framed that altruistically to be a sinner. And then there's some other things that happen inside the Cineplex. And Cineplex is sort of a brand in Canada. It might be a brand at other places as well. But when you go into the Cineplex, what you see, they're always clearly marking the entrance doors. And it's a little bit of word magic. It's not hardcore word magic, but they're very good. This brand Cineplex is very good at marking where you enter. And they won't say enter, they'll say entrance. And if you look at the word entrance, and it's on a lot of other doors as well, so it's not a hardcore example of the word magicians getting inside your head, but the word entrance, if you look at it, it also sounds a lot like in trance. Now, that is what they need. They need you to be in trance to program your mind subconsciously. That's absolutely proven, and you can go see the proof of that if you go to, say, BitChute or Odyssey or even Vimeo. You can see a documentary called Pseudoology, The Art of Lying, and it will really expand on the idea of how humans, when they stare at a screen, whether it's a movie screen or a TV screen, they go into trance. And trance is the state that a stage hypnotists place their audience members in and then give them these subconscious commands, which the audience members, for the most part, at least 60%, will act out without resistance or question. And this is what your movie theaters are for. They're there to put you in trance by staring at a screen. And there's an old black magic trick called fixing of the gaze. And that old black magic trick was honed and developed long before there was a screen that you would fix your gaze on. The old stage hypnotists used to have the watch, the pocket watch on a chain, and they used to swing it back and forth and say, look at the watch, you're getting very sleepy. And that fixing of the gaze changes your brainwave function, and you can learn all about this in that documentary, Pseudoology, The Art of Lying. And you can learn about this brainwave change and how it makes you highly suggestible to whatever themes or patterns or messages are inside your movie. Your movie screen isn't there to entertain you, it's there to program you, and it's best you learn about this stuff before the programming gets the better of you. And if it has got the better of you, you'll be poor, overweight, confused, and bewildered most of your life. So if you need more information like this, I'll slow drip it to you for free. Get on my email list. Email me at info@jchristoff.com. This is Jason Christoff signing off. Have a great day.